he came in to survive, and that's what he did. He survived. I hurt him multiple times, but I wasn't able to get him out of there. But I still got the win. I'm happy. I won every round on the scorecards, and I showed I was a true champion.
What did you make of the ref tonight, Devin?
Yeah. The ref was letting them, get away with some holding and hitting, all through the fight. But I just showed that I could fight through anything. This is what champions is made of. You can fight through any condition, and that's what I showed.
Did you think the knockout was going to come?
Yeah, I thought that it was gonna come. Like I said, I had him hurt a few different times, but he was able to survive. He was able to hold on. I think the ref, let him, do some excessive holding. But it's all part of the game.
Devin, I spoke to Ryan Garcia last week. When he was interviewed by DAZN, your name was brought up. Tonight you won. When you was interviewed by DAZN in the ring, Ryan Garcia's name was brought up. Is this a fight we can expect next year?
Yeah, that's a fight that they're stirring up. I think that fight is gonna happen sooner than later. It's a huge fight already. Every fight that he fights and I fight, it gets bigger and bigger. So, that fight's gonna happen sooner than later.
Just lastly, also seen you and Gervonta Davis go back and forth on Twitter. Do you want to just explain what happened there?
That's another fight, that's stirring up as well. He's in the 135-pound division. Nothing against him, but he's fighting for the WBA regular title, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, against Gamboa.
Yeah. So that's another huge fight in the 135-pound division. Like I said before the fight, the 135-pound division is probably the hottest division right now, in boxing. So it's a lot of big fights that can happen.
All right, Devin, well done tonight. Catch you soon.
Thank you.
Good man.
Dev, how's your shoulder?
My shoulder's all right. I'm not sure what round. I think it was like the 7th round, maybe the 8th round. I'm not sure. I threw a right hand and it went like out of the socket or something like that. But right now I'm icing it. Hopefully, it heals up fast.
How'd you set up that knockdown in the 5th round? What happened there?
To be honest, I don't even remember what happened. I think it was like a right hand, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I hit him with a right hand, and then all through the fight, he kept turning his head. The ref was warning me about, hitting him behind the head, but he was turning away from the shots. But it's part of the game.
You're kind of doing that Jermall Charlo, what he did to J-Rock, rolled, slip into that, coming back with that right hand.
Yeah, I seen that he was overextending some of his punches, so, I started to, catch him on the counters.
Did you feel like after that knockdown in the 5th round, he wasn't opening up after that round?
Yeah. Like I said before, I felt like he was, just trying to survive. Once I heard him knock him down, early in the fight he was trying to win, he was committing. Then once I knocked him down, I felt like he was just trying to survive.
What were you figuring out there early on before that knockdown in the first couple rounds?
Like I said, he was committing. He was throwing punches. He was showing that he wanted to win. So that's when I was able to start to pick him apart, started catch him on his counter, start to bait him in. But after the knockdown, it seemed like he just was discouraged.
Because it looked like that's what you were doing. You wanted him to open up to get him with a big counter.
Yeah. I wanted him to punch, but he found my power, and then after that, he just...
Was there a few times you were thinking of that Moran knockout, and you were trying to duplicate that?
Yeah. I kept seeing the Moran knockout. He was giving me his, he was standing straight up, he was giving me his chin. But he was a crafty fighter. Whenever he would think I would commit, he would hold, or he would, turn his head. He did some crafty things in there. He showed, that he had more experience than what he actually had on paper.
Yeah, because he had I found out right before the bell, he had 170 amateur fights and won 160 of them. But
yeah, I didn't even know that.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, I just got this opponent probably, a week ago, so we didn't really know much about him. We knew that he was fighting. He had a fight coming up, but we didn't know much about him going into the fight.
And was going for that big KO with the right hand? Do you think that's part of what may have hurt your shoulder a little bit?
Yes, I think that I know what happened. He was on the ropes. I tried to hit him with a right hand. I just overcommitted it, and that was all.
Should the ref have maybe warned him or something about the clinching?
I can't really, speak for the ref. The ref is just doing his job. Every ref is different. Every ref has different rules. But, like I said, I got the win. I'm happy I got the win. It was my first title defense, first to many.
Was this just another fight, or was it something a little different in the air about trying to fight in front of this crowd and all that?
No, it was just another fight. It was the same as all the other fights. When you in there, you don't really think about the crowd as much, whether it's, this many people or it's fighting in a small venue. When you're in there, you really just focus on your opponent. So I didn't think about the crowd too much. Of course, going into the fight, I wanted to knock him out in front of the crowd. But once you get in there, you don't even think about that.
And last week we had this great photo op of Floyd Mayweather. I was lucky to talk to you about it afterwards. There's been a lot of comparisons we got. Did you feel like Floyd at all when in the 12th round they boo a little bit while you're winning every single round?
The reason why they booed a little bit is because I was moving around, but when I was moving around it's because my arm was like out of the socket. I couldn't like if I would just move a little bit, I couldn't even put my hand up. If you watch the last round over, I couldn't even put my right hand up because my shoulder was messing with me. But it's all good. It's part of boxing. I understand that. Like I said, I got the win, and we on to the next.
Let's say this for some, this winds up being tough, and you got to stay out the gym for two months. Or would that be tough? Because you seem like a guy who's never been out of the gym that long.
Of course, I'm always in the gym. Whether it's a real injury, which I don't think that the injury is anything serious. But if so, you go in the gym, you work on other things. It's not always punching. You can develop on other things while something is healing up.
Yeah, I remember Canelo when he had his right arm hurt, he just threw left hooks worked on the left hand for 2-3 months.
Exactly. I felt like going in the fight, I could use my jab some more, and that's why as the fight went on, you started to see in the later rounds I started using my jab more because the shoulder was hurt. But it worked out well. I was doing better when I was using my jab.
20, do you remember when you warmed up with the left uppercut? You just missed it. It was like a great monstrous shot. Do you think that would have put him out?
Yeah, probably. When I heard him, it wasn't even a huge shot. It was actually just a pretty short shot that I heard him with. If I would have hit him with, I probably would have knocked him out. Who knows? But I hit him with some big shots. I heard him multiple times. He showed that he could survive.
I just got one question. 2019 was a good year for you. What does 2020 hold for Devin Haney? How do you envision next year?
2019 was a busy year. I became world champion. A lot of my dreams came true. But in 2020, now I want to make the big fights happen.
He's fighting just like Shannon.
I think that it's time. It's time for me to show that I'm a true champion. Which in this last fight I showed that I was a true champion. I could fight through anything. But it's time for me to get the big names. I feel like I'm ready.
Cool.
All right, thank you, Devin. Thank